yourself, and then Veronica and Maureen to our friend Kaz, who's going to talk about his work today. And then he could start. Okay?
Yes.
Okay.
Are we waiting for someone? Sandy, isn't she coming?
Simon.
Sandy.
Sandy.
Sandy. Is Sandy coming? Oh, okay.
I don't know. I don't know.
I'm not so sure. She didn't. But I think we could start because the presentations is more for him. If she jump again, we can again introduce or something like that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Introduction. I'm Anders from Sweden, dealing with ICT in our schools in a very small rural area. So it's not a big thing, but I like it. Soon going to retire, but not yet. And our fantastic snow, we had about 40 centimeters snow, and then it started to rain and melt. So I didn't like it. Now it's all icy in the roads, but that's okay. I'm inside. Our next.
Oh, Veronica.
Okay. Good morning for everyone. Kasimba, welcome, because we are so happy to have you with us. I am from Mexico. My name is Veronica, and you can feeling this is a very nice group, a friendly group who always hug everybody, and we want to learn about everybody in the world, and we like to know what are you doing at your home and at your classes. And the meaning of this group is to share not only educational experience, to share hearts. Welcome, Kasimba.
That was nice, Veronica. I'm Maureen. I'm from Western Massachusetts in the U.S., and I am a tech integration specialist at an elementary school. This year, I have been fortunate to get some funding to change the old computer lab, which had 15-year-old Gateway E-Series, into a makerspace for the kids. And so it's really at the beginning stages. I keep on trying to push myself to let the kids do more without me telling them exactly what I want. It's hard for me to let that go, not to give directions. And yeah, that's what I do. I work half-time at the elementary school. The other half of my time seems to be right now sucked up by the town broadband initiative, because I live in the hill towns of Western Mass, and we have terrible internet service. It's not nearly as good as yours, I would bet, and it drops continually. So that's what my other part of my life is trying to get broadband out here.
Did we lose the connection in the last second?
Yeah. I can hear.
I think Maureen was saying something and then it cut off. But what was the last thing you said, Maureen?
I said I work. The last part was working on the broadband in our town because we have terrible internet service. But that's it. Yeah. Like,
is that where you are right now?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
Where are the hill towns in Western Mass? Is that close to like Amherst?
It's west of Amherst. It's it's Amherst to the New York border, basically. Anything west of west of Springfield, west of Amherst, heading up towards the Berkshires. But we all have on a good day, I have 5 down, and it's in kilobytes going up. Just saying. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Jeez, that's tough.
Okay.
And just to know, Cass, Maureen, Anders, and Maureen and Anders, we met first in 2013. At first, we took LCL, the first LCL, Learning Creative Learning. Then we got CCAL in the same year. Then we met Maureen as well. We met first in the CCAL Symposium, the closing session for the course for the first semester, as well. Sandy, our another friend, maybe she should be here. And Anders, we met just personally just 4 years later in Bordeaux. Although we have been working together and sharing things since 2013. So it's an amazing experience to meet people that we have been working with, have this virtual connection, and we became friends, and then we met personally. For me, it's a very interesting experience that I'm particularly interested in. And our friend Veronica from Mexico, she organized a wonderful group called Edu Creativos in Mexico. It's a network of people, teachers, educators, technologists, everything. And I first met her in 2016 at the Scratch conference at Boston with her group. Amazing. It was about 8 to 10 persons, I remember, all dressed in orange colors and hats. Very happy people and colorful people from Mexico. And we have all these people, amazing people. I do want you to know them and their works because they are just amazing. Okay, so thank you so much for having all you here today, and thank you so much, Cass, for sharing your experience in being here with us today. Okay, I think now you could start your presentation.
All right. I'm gonna talk to you a little bit about the Clubhouse, specifically my Clubhouse, which is the flagship Clubhouse. I'm gonna discuss a little bit about the Clubhouse network, which is our global network of clubhouses around the world, and I'm also gonna I'm gonna start kind of with my experience and how I ended up here at the flagship Clubhouse in Boston. So, my name is Cassiemba Okayo. You can call me Cass for short, or Cassiemba, whatever you prefer. I was born and raised in Los Angeles, California. Both of my parents are from Africa. My mom is from Malawi, and my dad is from Kenya. They both immigrated to Los Angeles in the U.S. Let's see. I got into kind of technology when I was in high school. I studied some computer programming. After leaving high school, I got into music and music technology. And later on, I got into film. So I studied music over in Boston, here in Boston at the Berklee College of Music. I studied film scoring. And then while I was studying film scoring, I decided that I wanted to get into learning how to make films. And so my passion kind of moved in that direction, but I was always writing songs and I was always writing musical scores for motion picture. And also doing working with technology and building computers and doing programming as well. So when I found out about this opportunity at the Clubhouse to run essentially a makerspace where I get to combine all those skill sets, I was excited. It was a very unique position that I can use all the things that I was passionate about at the same time. I also have a lot of experience with youth work. All the while I was in school, I was doing a lot of youth work, running after school programs. So the clubhouse seemed like a really cool combination of all those things at the same time. And yeah, that's what led me here. So I'm currently living in Boston, running the flagship clubhouse. And actually, I'm about to end my time here, and I'm moving back to Los Angeles. So it's a really interesting time period because the clubhouse is in a transitional phase where we're moving from the Museum of Science in Boston. We're moving out of the museum into a community in Roxbury, Massachusetts, which is a short distance away, but it's a very different community. And I'll tell you more about that move in a bit. Starting with the Clubhouse Network. The Clubhouse Network is a network of youth spaces that focus on empowering youth through the use of technology, encouraging them to use technology to express themselves and express their own interests, and to collaborate and build community and strengthen their own communities. And every clubhouse around the world kind of does that in its own unique way. So we have clubhouses in South Africa, Mexico, Costa Rica, Brazil, Argentina, New Zealand, Australia, the Philippines, Moscow, Taiwan, Ireland. So they're all over, and also all over the United States. Every clubhouse is for the most part hosted by another organization. And every clubhouse has a coordinator like myself that works on the programming and running the space and making sure youth have all the tools they need, and making sure that the environment is a safe space for creativity and all that. So and then I guess now I can talk a little bit about specifically what happens at my space, because every clubhouse based on location is different, is run differently based on the challenges of their own location. So here in Boston, this clubhouse has been around since for about, what is it, 24 years, I believe. 24 years. We've been at the Museum of Science in Boston for the last about 16 years. And we're, like I said, we're moving out. So we're kind of concluding the end of a really long, fruitful relationship with the Museum of Science. The space here at the museum has, well, let me just start by talking about how I run the space and how we encourage creativity in the space. So I see it as I often describe the space as a youth design studio. It's a space where young people come in and they get creative and they learn how to use technology. They learn, they come and collaborate on projects like movies and photography. They come and work on music. The technology we have available includes vinyl cutters, 3D printers, a music studio with professional equipment, cameras for photography and video, and lights, green screen, a green wall for compositing, a bunch of computers with a lot of great software. The software includes 3D modeling and animation software, graphic design, photo editing, video editing, programming, web design, music production software, and a bunch of stuff I'm probably forgetting. We also have a lot of traditional arts and crafts tools like paints and colored pencils and drawing utensils and all that good stuff. I'm looking around the room because right now I'm in the clubhouse. I wish I could lift the computer so you can see it, but I'm gonna point you to some links that you can where you can check it out and you can see some of the way the room's set up. So we kind of even if you just look behind me, the room is really colorful. we decorate the space with work. So if you walk in the space, it really feels like it's a youth space. It's a space that belongs to the youth. We have the tables set up in a specific way that helps to encourage youth to collaborate and work together on projects. We have a green table in the center of the room that's where youth like to meet up and discuss things. That's usually where collaborations will start. And we have, let's see, we have chairs on wheels. All the chairs are on wheels, which makes it easy for collaboration as well. The reason we decorate the room like we do with the youth artwork and the youth pieces, the things that they've created, is not just about youth ownership. It's also about making sure that the space feels welcoming for other youth. And a lot of there's a couple base principles to how I think of the space and how I think of my role. So as a coordinator, I see myself as someone whose job it is to get young people to be as creative as possible, as quickly as possible. So in other words, to kind of eliminate the obstacles of their creativity and any insecurities, and just get them to jump into being creative, get them to try something new. And so one of the ways we do that is making sure that we have a lot of youth work on the walls that kind of warms up the space and gets new young people excited about creating. So the Clubhouse program is free. Here at the flagship Clubhouse, we've been open basically out of school time hours. So from in the afternoons and evenings on Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, and from 12 to 6 on Saturday. So today, I'm at work, so I'm going to be opening the Clubhouse at noon Eastern time in the U.S. And that's pretty much the gist of it. So when a new person comes into the space, I introduce myself to them. I greet them. One of the first things I ask is what they're interested in. What are the things that they're passionate about? And from there, it can go a lot of different ways. Like if they say they're passionate about making movies, then I point them to the camera. I let them know that we have editing equipment, and I might also introduce them to another young person that likes making movies in the space. A lot of the way we think of the space is just from that standpoint. Starting with the passions is based on Mitchell Resnick's idea of the 4 Ps. Are you guys familiar with the learning model with the 4 Ps? Yeah. So passion, play, projects, and peer learning. So even just that introduction of meeting someone, finding out what they're passionate about, introducing them to a peer that they can work on a project with, and hopefully play around with the camera. And you can see just in that very interaction, all 4 Ps are at work as soon as a young person comes in. Oh, we got another person here. Hi.
Hello. This is oh, finally got it. She's trying to get in for some time.
Welcome, Susan. I assume that's your name because that's what I saw on the thing.
Yes.
So we were just talking about what I, as a Clubhouse coordinator, what I do when I meet a new youth for the first time. So we were just discussing the 4 Ps, Mitchell Resnick's 4 Ps, and how we put those to work kind of in the first couple minutes of meeting a young person who's new to our program. The example that I was just mentioning was that for example, if we meet someone that's interested in film, one of the first things I find out that they're passionate about film, and I introduce them to a peer that's also interested in film, and I encourage them play around with the cameras and work on a project together. So that's kind of the 4 Ps in action. And another point that I emphasize is that my goal is to get them to be as creative as possible, as quickly as possible. So having that learning model with the 4 Ps kind of gives structure to how we make that happen. Another guideline for the space that's really important and that I emphasize to youth and to parents so that people have a clear idea of what the program is before they come here is that our focus is on creativity and not consumption. So youth don't come to our space to play video games. They come here to make video games. And youth don't come here to sit and watch videos or sit and listen to music. They come here to make music and make videos. And so, as I said earlier, it's kind of, I put it on myself as a coordinator in leading the space that it's kind of my goal to make sure that they can get creative without being insecure about it. So one of the challenges is, you know, you might have a young person that likes to sing. How do I get them to record themselves without being nervous? So in other words, how do I get them into the music studio to create a project of their own that they can be proud of without being nervous? And so that changes based on the different youth that we interact with, and every project, every young person's different. And so that's one of the challenges of being a coordinator, as you all know, if you work in youth spaces, that every young person is different. And one of the great things about informal learning is that it creates an atmosphere where you can adjust the learning to suit the individual, and it kind of so that if it's just one rigid structure, we don't have to leave anyone behind, because you know how different young people thrive in different approaches to learning. So the clubhouse and other informal learning spaces allow them to learn at their own pace, and discover things about themselves and find things that they're good at. So I don't know. That's my introduction so far. How am I doing? Am I staying on topic?
Yes. No. Yes. Sure. I'm sorry. How long have you been in charge at the clubhouse in Boston? How long?
Yes. So I've been at the flagship clubhouse. I started out as an assistant 3.5 years ago. So my boss was the lead clubhouse manager. Her name was Jackie Gonzalez. She still has a close relationship with the network, the Clubhouse network. And then after she left about 2 years ago or 2.5 years ago, 2.5 years ago, I took over as the lead coordinator. So that was about, I've been here about 2.5 years of me being, two and a half years of me leading as a coordinator.
Oh, great.
Yeah. So before that, I was an assistant. Yeah.
A lot of experience.
Yeah, totally.
Because it's very intense. The rhythm that the things happen. I had the opportunity of see just one day, a couple of hours, and it was a lot of doing a lot of different stuff. Each one doing in one machine and music, and it's amazing. Yes.
Yeah. So the thing about that is, so that's one of the challenges of being a coordinator, and especially when I started, I wanted to make sure I learned as many of the tools as I could, so that when a young person comes in, I could demonstrate it to them. But in reality, it's impossible to learn everything. So one of the main things that I made sure to do was find the youth that were passionate about specific pieces of technology and encouraged other youth to learn from them. So that's that peer, that P for peer that comes into play, that helps me do my job more effectively. And it helps me build youth leaders, putting young people in the space in a leadership position where they can demonstrate and teach. So nowadays I have, if someone comes to me and says, oh, I don't know how to use the 3D printer, you know, I'll introduce them to my Clubhouse member, Nick. Or if they want to use the music studio, I'll introduce them to my Clubhouse member, Albatul, who knows how to use the music studio. Same thing with the vinyl cutter, same thing with movie equipment. Now we have a community of youth leaders, and those youth leaders become really good at teaching other youth leaders too. And so it's a really great way to establish collaboration, but also community and peer-to-peer learning, for sure. Yeah, and it's really fast-paced. Eloisa's right about that. It gets usually at the end of the day, I'm really tired by the end. I usually have to be on my feet the whole time on a busy day. So, yeah.
And I think you mentioned a very important thing, because when we are in charge as teachers or in a classroom, in a small group, or in some space like this, there's something that pushes us to, oh, do this, do this. I have been visiting many places like this around the world, and many here in Brazil as well. And sometimes people are teaching what they have to do. So although you have a wonderful space like this, if you use the same old way, nothing changes really. So I think you pointed a very important step here. Try to make these connections and let each one take charge of. It's wonderful, perfect. Congrats.
Yeah, and it's and also young people learn different from each other as opposed to an older authority figure. You know, there's a different response. It's a different relationship, which is not to say it's better or worse, but it's just different, and it's a nice variety to have. It enables them to remember that, you know, you're not, you know, at school you're learning from a teacher who's an authority figure at the front of the class. It's good to have that other reminder that you can learn from each other too. We have a lot to learn from one another, and so and it's humbling as well. Like, it shows that you can you'll always be learning because you'll always have peers around, and so yeah, it's a lot of fun. And also I learn a lot. Like, I learn a lot from youth. There's always times where I have to you know, request that they show me something or teach me something, which gives them a whole other level of, it's a whole other degree of leadership for young people to be in a position to teach an adult how to do something. I think that's really empowering, and it's a huge confidence booster. So yeah, it's a really cool thing. I also wanted to mention some of the challenges of being at, so one of the challenges of being here at the Museum of Science was that we had trouble getting a constant flow of young people. So what we discovered over time was that the location of being in a museum was really challenging. And not just being in the museum, but because the museum is situated in a part of town where young people have trouble getting to on their own. So on a Saturday like today, I'd expect to see a lot of youth, but on a Wednesday or a Thursday, it's really difficult for them to get here. So when I started working here, one of my main goals was to go out into the community and meet parents, meet teachers, meet principals and school advisors and people in the community, and inform them about this free program that had a lot to offer. So what I did was I went into classrooms and I spoke to the youth directly. I used it during school time, and I spoke to youth about the program. I gave them a pitch, kind of said when we're open and what we do here and why it's fun. Sometimes I'd even be able to show them videos of the program in action. And basically I tried to advertising. I was trying to give them an exciting way to perceive the program, to encourage them to come and take part. One of the things that I think parents responded to most was that we were free, which was a big deal. And then another thing they responded to a lot was that we're at the Museum of Science, which kind of, it's really easy to trust a famous big institution like the museum. They can trust that their youth are going to be very well taken care of. But one of the final things we realized, and why we're moving now to a different community, was that no matter what, being in the museum at this location was always going to be a challenge for some of our youth. And so we're moving into a community where more youth are going to have access to our program, and more youth are going to benefit from the things we have to offer, which is really exciting. So we're going to have a brand new space in Roxbury, Massachusetts. We already have some new staff on board. And I'm looking forward to seeing how the clubhouse establishes itself in that community, because every community has its challenges as well, you know. So it's going to be really exciting to see how the clubhouse complements the community, the community organizations that are already in effect, and kind of helps youth get the best out of themselves in that community. I'm super excited to see how that goes. But yeah, so I did a lot of outreach in neighboring cities and classrooms, and it still wasn't, we still weren't getting the youth numbers that we wanted, or that we should have been getting. So it's nice to finally take action and make sure that our program is having the biggest positive effect, which I think is important for any youth organization, that, you know, you should always be conscious of trying to have the biggest positive effect possible. So yeah, so with that in mind, the other challenge that comes with that is that our youth, our young people from the community we're in right now, in which is Cambridge, Massachusetts, they're kind of bummed out because now they're going to have access to the clubhouse, which is sad. So we're gonna see a whole different community of youth come into the new space as opposed to the ones we have now. I still think a lot of them will still take part and still make the commute, but they have to travel further to get to that new location, obviously. So yeah.
Excuse me, Cass. Two things. One, first, if I got it, I don't know. First, that the clubhouse is not going to work anymore inside of this building, the museum.
Yeah, it's no longer going to be in the Museum of Science.
But you are going to make this transfer? You haven't, because now you are in the same old place, isn't it?
Yeah. So we're going to be in the museum until April.
Until April, okay.
Yeah, so they're finishing, actually, our executive director, who is Gail Breslow, recently took a trip to look at this space, and they're building it out right now. It's kind of, they're rebuilding parts of an old building in Roxbury, Massachusetts, which is a neighboring community.
Okay.
And so they're finishing the construction, and then we move in April. So it's still pretty close to this area, but it'll be harder for some of our young people to get to there, you know.
Harder,
but it'll be
now?
Easier for most young people, you know.
Okay. Okay. But are you going to be there till April to make this transfer, or?
I will not. I will actually be. I moved to Los Angeles.
2 moves you have.
Yeah, it's really difficult. It's really difficult. I moved to Los Angeles at the end of February. And so right now they're trying to find someone to fill my position. And in the meantime, like, we also have other staff that are going to be helping out take over the clubhouse. And I've also spoken to my youth, and I've told them that it's going to be really important. Like, their leadership is going to be really, really important during this transition, during this move, since I'm not going to be there for most of it. which I'm also excited about seeing them kind of step up and be leaders in helping move the clubhouse over. So, but also we have clubhouses in Los Angeles. We have 3 in the Los Angeles area, and I know the coordinators of those spaces. So I'm also looking forward to becoming a mentor at a clubhouse, which is a different role that I didn't mention yet. That every clubhouse has volunteer mentors.
Just to understand. So okay, just to follow. So those who are leaving Boston and moving to LA, you are intended to go on with the clubhouse.
No. So not to work, not as an employee. So all right. So backing up, yeah, I'm moving to LA to also try like for new career. So a career change almost. You know, I want to. I said earlier that I'm really passionate about filmmaking and music, and I really want to pursue those passions now. So writing and directing. Yeah, so LA, and also LA. Also, LA is where all of my family is. I don't have any family in Massachusetts, which has been very challenging to be with no family at all. So I'm moving out there to do more of that work, the film work, but we have clubhouses there. So I'm looking forward to being a volunteer, which is a volunteer mentor. I don't know if so every clubhouse has mentors that also volunteer to help youth learn. So we get mentors that are some of them are filmmakers, some of them are web designers, photographers, graphic designers. Like we encourage people from the Media Lab, the MIT Media Lab, to mentor since they have a lot of their interests are like the same exact things that we do here in the clubhouse. Also, I don't know if you guys know, but the MIT Media Lab, we were founded in collaboration with the MIT Media Lab by Mitchell Resnick and Natalie Rusk. And the Media Lab is actually walking distance from the museum. So it's about a 10-15 minute walk from the museum. So that enables us to have a really, really strong relationship. But we also get other mentors from MIT and other mentors from Harvard University and other mentors from Tufts University, all these neighboring colleges that want to learn more about informal learning, that want to learn more about how youth are using code to learn nowadays and to empower themselves. So we have a really strong mentor community throughout the Clubhouse network, in addition to a Clubhouse coordinator community and a youth community. Which also brings me to my next point. So I pointed out that the Clubhouse network is a global network, and one of the ways that we connect is through an online portal called The Village. Is there a way to do screen share on here? Can I share the screen? Oh, you're muted.
Yes. Sorry. Go on the left. First to the second green screen share. Okay.
Okay. All right. Let's see. Okay, so can you see the purple village site?
Yes.
You see it? Okay, cool. So this is the Clubhouse Village. Now the Clubhouse Village is like a social network just for Clubhouse members throughout the world and coordinators and mentors and staff.
I think you can maximize the screen, please.
Okay.
Oh,
is that better?
Yes, much. Thank you.
Okay. So I'm logging in under my name, Kasiemba, and I'm typing my password. Oh, well, let me show you what this is. So these are, if you look right here, these are 2 members from our Clubhouse. And January is Mentor Month. So it's like I just said, we have a community of mentors throughout the network, adult mentors that volunteer and help youth during Clubhouse time. And so these 2 members wrote little notes in appreciation for the mentors. And this is something that Clubhouse members throughout the world are doing right now. So that's what that is right there. I'm logging in. And the Clubhouse Village is a site that where youth share projects. So right away, I log in my coordinator account, and right away I see up here, there's the newest projects added by youth. You can see if I click on this one, this person's from the Philippines, tells me what country they're from. If I go back and click on this one, this project's from someone in South Africa. If I click on this one, this is also from the Philippines. If I go to the left over here, Valeria is from Colombia. So we have right away, right when you log into the village, you see projects from all over the world. So we usually get a greeting from different languages. Yeah, so these are the newest projects. I can go over here. I can click on one. I can look at it. I can leave a comment. So at the bottom of the screen, I'm typing, very cool. I love Peter Pan. Just it's a drawing of Peter Pan. And then I can share it.
So it's a platform like, may I do this comparison, as Scratch community, that you can show the projects and you can comment and change ideas. And is this in this spirit, this mode, isn't it?
Exactly. And actually you can share Scratch projects. If I search for Scratch on here. So Chris Garrity, so the site was made basically by the same people that make Scratch. And if I were to go over here and say, I hope this one works. Does this work? So yeah, you can load the Scratch project right on here. It's embedded and I can try it. I don't know. Oh, they made a Google Doodle. So it says Google.
Cool.
that's all the projects. But they also have, like, there's game Scratch projects. If I were to go to my profile here, you can see, well, first of all, it starts out with a greeting because I typed out a greeting for myself. There's a little video that I put there for a web series about making music. But also you can click over here in projects and you can see every project I ever posted on the village. So you can see I have 219 projects. Yeah, and they're all very different. So for example, this one I worked on with our Clubhouse member Max. We did a photo shoot. This is photoshopped, right? He doesn't really have that car. But we photoshopped it and we uploaded it, and I can tag him to it since he was part of the process of making it. So his name comes up on it as well. And you can click on his account and you can see all the projects that he's made. One of the things he did recently was building a birdhouse out of cardboard, which he took a picture of. Another thing that he did was making some stickers with the vinyl cutter for his phone. I can go back to mine. Let's see, what else can you see here? And I think I have some Scratch projects. Also, you can see some Photoshop. This is a photo shoot that I did with some of our girls. And oh, say that, sorry.
Very good picture.
Oh, thanks.
As a professional, yes.
Yeah, it's nice. They did a really good job posing too. We set up a light on the side. There's a light so you can see that, yeah. And then see their names are tagged on here. So Kate, two of the girls didn't have an account, but Kate and Sarah, who are these two girls, since they were part of the creative process, we tag them to it and their names are on there. And then people give me comments. Like someone from South Africa said, wow, I like the way you did this pic, the black and white. And then I said, thank you. And then Brenda, who's one of our Clubhouse staff, said that she liked it too. So it's really great. The village is a really great community. You can see you can also upload 3D art like this. I was going to show you a Scratch project. Let's see if I can find one. If I were to look on this right here. This is a really funny Scratch project that I worked on with some of our youth here. What's really cool about this project is that we wrote the music in the music studio. You can't hear the music probably, but it's an animated penguin from scratch. Right? You couldn't hear that music, right?
And let me think, ask you something. We can see or participating of this Clubhouse Village, even though we are not Clubhouse users, or how is it?
Yeah, so only Clubhouse community can use that site. It's only for people in the Clubhouse community. So the only time you can see projects that are on there is if they uploaded. Well, a lot of the projects get uploaded to other sites and then get embedded into the village. So we have a YouTube account where you can view. Oh, I can't hear you. You're on mute.
But we still can see the projects. We cannot.
I don't think so.
Yes, because I tried, and
you did?
Yes, I could see. They ask. Yes, I could enter. Yes, I could see. They asked for a password. Okay.
You can see. Sorry, I just checked. I logged out and checked. You can see. It just comes out a little different. Yeah, you're right. You're right. Yeah, okay. So you can see all of them.
What I'm thinking, for instance, Veronica has a big group of students, and if they wanted to explore the things the people do there, you know, maybe inspiring, something like that. I just wanted to know.
I don't know if you can explore. I think you need
a password.
Yeah, in order to do searches and that kind of thing, you need a log in. But if you have a link to a specific project, you can share it with someone and they can see it. Yeah. So I also, if you're at all curious to see some of the projects, I'm gonna show. Let's see. Oh well, let me just make sure you guys get these links that I wanted to share with you. So one of the links I'm gonna put in the chat room is that's the link for the Clubhouse Beat, and that's the site just for this Clubhouse. And that's a good idea, Veronica. I'll upload some project links right now. But yeah, that site is for the Clubhouse Beat. And actually, let me do a quick screen share to show you. This is one of the ways that we keep youth and families informed about what's happening with the space, but also it's a great site to use to tell people specifically about this space in Boston. We have a different site, which I'm going to post right now. That's for, let me close this. That site, that site is for the main Clubhouse network site. So that's where you find out about the global network, and that's a good site if you want to learn about the philosophy of our learning model and all that good stuff and the history. Let's see. Oh, is this working right now? Oh, it's not. My bad. Sorry. And so let me go to that Clubhouse Beat. So yeah, you can see that this is actually a feed from our Facebook page. And the Facebook page is usually how families and friends find out what's happening in the Clubhouse. But it's also fed via WordPress to show up on this website, which is really cool. So like if we want people to know about pizza at the Clubhouse, they'll know. And also over here, they'll know what days we're closed because of weather, which I think has only happened once this winter. There was so much snow that they had to close the museum. There's another thing, lets people know when we have vacation time. So when the Clubhouse is closed, and then I put little pictures every now and then to let them know we're open and show them exciting things that happen in the space. So this is one of our mentors. This is my old boss, Jackie Gonzalez, and this is one of our Clubhouse members, and they're all working on Scratch. We have something for the Clubhouse anniversary. We also talked about one of our youth winning a science fair for the state of Massachusetts, which was really cool. She won for doing a robotic arm or something like that. And so that's just the informational part to let keep people up to date. But every category has something up here. We have an About Us that lets people know, just once again, specifically about our space, because the other website talks about the Clubhouse network, but this one talks specifically about ours. So we have pictures of our music studio right here. We got a green screen and some of our youth over here. We got some people working over here. We have a link about our summer program to let people know that we're open during the summer, but that our hours are different. We also have information about camps and special programs like our Clubhouse Leadership Crew, which is also over here. So the Clubhouse Leadership Crew is a group of youth that kind of they start as youth volunteers and youth leaders in the space, and we ultimately run them through a specific leadership development program, kind of like professional development, and then we give them a paid position at the end. So we did that for the first time last year, and these are the alumni of that program. Let's see, what else do we have here? And also, one of the most important things for new people finding out about the Clubhouse is that they can go to the site and see how to become a member or how to become a mentor. So that's really cool. And then we have a sponsorship page and then a contact page where new families and youth can reach out to me to find out more information. So yeah, that's our, let's see. That's the Clubhouse site, and you can feel free to check that out more later. I wanted to make sure I mentioned Teen Summit, which is one of the distinct events that happens within our global network. Every other summer, that's every 2 years, every clubhouse around the world picks 3 youth to come to Boston and spend a week in Boston to collaborate with other youth and on projects and every young person has a different technology track. So some people might do bioengineering, or someone else might do filmmaking. Some people do animation. Some do music production. And they all collaborate on these projects. And what makes it really special is that it's very unique to have different youth come from all over the world, speaking different languages and different styles of learning, but to be in the same space and collaborate is really a great culmination of what the Clubhouse is all about. So it's a really fun event, and I got to participate in it in 2016, and it's just really fun. I feel like I have friends from all over the world now through that event. When I brought my youth, 3 of my youth, there was 2 boys and 1 girl. We were roomed. We had to stay in a room that was that we shared with people from Costa Rica, from the Clubhouse in Costa Rica. So just that alone was a lot of fun, that they got to meet and they got to talk and share interests, and that's really what the Clubhouse is all about, that global community and that collaboration. So that was a lot of fun. That's Teen Summit. So if you go on to the clubhousenetwork.org, you can learn more about Teen Summit. I'm just reading what Veronica just wrote.
I gave him the link yet. And Cass, I think we should open, just me made the questions. I'm sure that the people want to make you question before we finish the session.
Yeah, I'm so sorry. I was taking them.
No, I'm so sorry, because we have so many questions and made took a lot of your time. Yeah. And let's open for questions officially. Okay, let's go for it.
Veronica was raising her hand, but then she
muted.
Veronica.
Okay. Okay, Cass. I was really excited to hear you because you are so so nice to tell us what are you doing.
Oh.
And but I'm going to tell you something. You said not all the youth people are the same, but adults people are not the same too.
Yes, very true.
We are so different.
Yeah.
And then teachers need to know, if teachers are different, students are different.
Yep.
Then we need to learn this. And well, in Mexico City, I went to one clubhouse. I've never been there. It's in the poor zone.
Is that Yurian? Is Yurian the coordinator there? Do you remember the name?
I don't remember his name, but it isn't. From my house, it's about 1 hour from there. And I was a little afraid because in that place, I said, where I can leave my car, because when I go out, I don't not to have the car, maybe. But when I went inside that place and I saw all the things they made, I was surprised because they are making drones with things we put in the garbage. And we invited them, this team, to an event we have in the university, and they were so marvelous to show us how you can do with garbage.
Yeah.
Even near this clubhouse, it's a big, huge market of garbage things they'll sell there. And you can imagine all the things they could have in those places. Then the meaning of these clubhouses is to empower the creativity.
Yeah.
And I think this is one of the best things, because you can tell the students or the people or the youth who lives in those places, you can do it.
Mm-hmm.
You can do it. I think the first is to make them with the auto-esteem. They could empower. You can do it. This is the best. If you can do it, they can change their lives.
Yeah.
Thank you very much for everything you told us.
Yeah, no problem. Yurian, the coordinator there, he's a really talented person that really knows how to take things. He's really great with electronics. So I've met him twice, or 2 or 3 times. We've seen each other, and he's really fun. Like he's really smart, and he knows how to do that. But that's a great example of how the personality and interests of a coordinator kind of influences how what happens in the space. Also the location, that they have a place where they can get like things that might be junk, and they can create projects for. So a lot of what happens in the clubhouse is influenced by the coordinator, but also by the location. And so that's a really great example of that. Yeah, for sure. Mm-hmm. I just shared a video. I don't know if you guys are going to be able to see that, but it's a Vimeo video that you can watch later on. It's a really great example of just the kids collaborating and creating a project in the clubhouse. The project was called ArtBots. Maybe I'll share it also in the Facebook group so you can see it.
It's nice because excuse me, because if you tell all about these things, you can share with others. Thank you.
Yeah.
Cass, this is Maureen. It's just funny because you're doing the ArtBots, and I just asked for money for vibrating motors so I could do ArtBots. But I had a couple of questions. One is your clubhouse, or was your clubhouse part of the engineering is elementary program at the museum, or is that totally separate? And how did you choose Roxbury to move to? And are you still going to be affiliated with the museum?
Yeah, so really good questions. To answer your first question, no, we're not part of the museum's engineering is elementary program. What's interesting is that a lot of the workshops that they ran, they would run them right next door to this room. And so during breaks, the people from there would come to this room and they would take pictures of the clubhouse and they would ask me like a million questions about running the space, which is always cool. I liked seeing they all come from so many places to come to the museum to participate in workshops for EIE. They're all teachers from all over the place. But yeah, no, we're not part of that. So that EIE, my understanding of EIE is that they make materials for the classroom. Although I do take input from them about certain things. Like there's been times where I consulted with some of their things to find out how they did things. One of the things I looked at was what do they call it? The engineering, the process of engineering that starts with a question and a something.
The engineering design process.
Exactly.
Ask, plan, create, that one. Yeah.
Exactly. What's interesting is that that's something that's formally brought up in EIE. So this kind of shows you the difference between traditional academia and informal learning, is that that's brought up formally in that space, but in our space it happens organically. So we still go through the same process, but we just don't we're less likely to talk about it, you know? And I just thought that was so interesting to look at how yeah, we're kind of doing the same thing, but in our space we approach it in a very organic way and we land over there. But yeah, I think it's really cool that they were running workshops right next door to us, and I'd get to meet teachers from all over the country and all over the world that go to those EIE workshops, but they want to learn more about informal learning spaces like the clubhouse, which is cool. And then your other question was, oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, that's okay. Go ahead.
I forgot what your other question was. It was
how did you choose? Are you still going to be associated with the museum, and how did you choose Roxbury?
Roxbury. Yeah. So Roxbury is a community in so first of all, we went out and we looked for different spaces, and we had to see what worked for us financially, but the most important thing was to do our work more effectively. So that means to have as big of a positive effect on the community and to be reaching as many youth as possible. And in our what we learned from going out and looking at spaces was that Roxbury, specifically Dudley Square, had that specific need, that we could meet that specific need in that area, you know. It's kind of a developing area, I guess you would say. The most encouraging part was that when we went over there and we met with people from the community, specifically the Roxbury Innovation Center, as well as the South End Technology Center. I don't know if you heard of these spaces, but these are different spaces that do similar work. We wanted to make sure that we weren't being redundant, and we wanted to make sure that there was a need for what we had to offer. And both organizations were really encouraged us to move out to that area, which is great. And then when I went out there to Boston Public Schools open houses, I got to meet and speak with parents and teachers face to face, and they were really encouraged by the fact that we're coming out there. So we got that kind of reassurance. Now we almost ended up moving into the Boston Public Library, the Central Library.
Wow.
Yeah. we had several talks and meetings about that. Ultimately, it didn't work out, and I think I wasn't a part of the final meetings for that. But I think the reason why it didn't work out was because they had that redundancy that I was just talking about. The fact that they had, when the Boston Public Library started their makerspace, they met with me to get advice on what they should do. They met with me and my old boss. And so we consulted them on that. And then they started doing that work, and they were doing it extremely effectively. And they've been growing fast, and they've been doing excellent work with it. So I think for us to go over there and house there would be kind of redundant, you know?
Right.
And I think that, I mean, that's my opinion. That's not official in any way, but that's why I think that fell through. And then we ended up going to Roxbury instead, which I think is going to be really great. Cause we have a new space. I mean, that's one of the things we're most excited about, having a new space and new equipment, in a new community that didn't have that thing before, you know? So that's really exciting.
One quick question.
Yeah, go ahead.
What's the typical age of the kids who come to your clubhouse? Are they more like middle school, high school, teenagers, or younger kids, or a mix?
Yeah, so it's really, really diverse. One of the things that impacts the age the most is what day of the week it is. So when we were talking about access and location earlier, the reality is that it's really hard for a 10-year-old to get here on a Wednesday unless a parent drops them off, you know? That's in the museum. It's really hard. So on a Wednesday, we'd end up seeing almost exclusively teenagers. And then on a Saturday, we usually see a lot of times a more diverse set of ages, you know? So our music studio, for instance, attracts a lot of teenagers. A lot of teenagers like to record hip hop music in the music studio. Our 3D printer attracts a lot of anyone from age 10 to 14. They like to 3D print. So a lot of middle schoolers do the 3D printing. Also, a lot of middle schoolers like to do just a lot of crafting in general. So just usually I see the middle schoolers building things out of cardboard, doing paintings and things like that, which I find very interesting. I'm only just noticing that now as I'm telling you this, that they like to do a lot of crafting in the middle school age people. We have a lot of younger youth, really exciting. We have younger youth that like to make films and stuff. So I get another example I can show you. Is a movie that we made with some younger. I'll post it in the links, but I've made movies with younger youth as well. So yeah, it's really diverse. I'd say we have a really balanced age thing across the spectrum from 10 to 18. Well, an interesting point is that we're gonna change the age range to 12 to 18, I believe, when we move to Roxbury. Which is something I think we still need to explore, because that's one of those things that I don't think we should define until we're in that community and until we assess the needs of that community. So it's like coming up with a number before you're in it is actually really I don't know, it's kind of risky. So I'm going to encourage that they wait out before they make that call, or at least when you make that call, like make sure you're listening to parents and seeing what the demands are. One of the things is about the space is it's really hard to balance that diversity of age, because teenagers don't always feel comfortable around 10-year-olds, and 10-year-olds don't always feel comfortable around teenagers that are like 18 or 17. So a lot of times it's really hard to balance that. You just have to be considerate of those cultures being different, the maturity levels being different. And try to balance it out to make an environment that's comfortable for everybody. And another question that you asked me earlier was about the museum relationship. Ideally, you know, I won't be here in a couple months, but ideally, I think that we would keep trying to cultivate that relationship with the museum. The Museum of Science is a great institution, and they do a lot of work for community outreach and trying to make sure that people from that that have less access to the museum have access. So they do things like, we're really close to the community relations department here. So hopefully there'll be some collaborations with the clubhouse and the community relations aspect of the museum. I don't know. I haven't had meetings about that yet, but I would think that would be a no-brainer for both the clubhouse and the museum. I think there's I think we can benefit from each other in that way, you know? So, yeah. Any other questions?
Anders, would you like to ask something to Cass? Anders?
Yeah, I'm here.
Are you?
And
Aren't you frozen?
no, it's not that cold. but I think it was an inspiring talk. I'm in the process of starting up a makerspace in my very small community.
Mm-hmm.
But so my question is, I want to see the space. How do you have the space inspiring for people to get involved?
Yeah,
I
think
I saw on the page there were a lot of pictures, so I can go through them maybe.
Mm-hmm.
But how do you think about the space?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. You mean like physically, like the furniture, or what do you mean?
Yeah. Where do you place something to get its best benefit for the ideas?
Let me see. I'm pulling up some pictures to remind myself of some ideas. So in the middle of the room. Let me see if I could turn. I don't know if this is. It's not really a good picture. I can't turn the computer that much or it'll disconnect. But let's see. So one of the main things that we've been doing with clubhouses, they might less and less clubhouses are doing it, but we have a green table in the middle of the room. On a given day, at the start of every day, I roll out a big sheet of paper. Sometimes it's blank, sometimes it's the paper from the day before that has writings and drawings on it. And I spread out a bunch of colored pencils and markers. And what that does is when people come in, they can just start, like I said, I like to get people as creative as possible, as quickly as possible. So they can just start drawing on it and they have something to do. But the idea is that green table in the center of the room is a space for community. And it's very much what I would call a jumping off point. It's a space where you can come and start being creative while you think about what the main project you're going to work on for the day might be. So an example might be Ischel, who's one of our clubhouse members, would come in, and the first thing she would do is pick up a pencil and start drawing on that big paper that I rolled out while she's thinking about what to do next. And then she might say, okay, I think I'm going to design something to print with the 3D printer. And then she'll leave and do that. She'll go to a computer and do that. But another person might come in and draw on that piece of paper and just start working on a really big mural on that piece of paper, and they might just stay doing that. The idea is that if you can't think of what you want to do, because the clubhouse, when you walk in, there's so many different things that you can do. If you can't think of something, you can just sit there and draw while you think of something. But the idea is that as long as they're being creative. Now, if you're ready to work, we have different pods of computers. I would say they're like grouped in 2s and 3s. And we have a group of 3 computers there, a group of 2 computers there, a group of 4 computers right here. And the pods of computers make it really easy for you to either work on your own project or also collaborate and lean over and see what someone else is working on or discuss a bigger project that you're collaborating on. So we're very conscious of making collaboration as easy as possible. and making creativity as easy as possible. I think those are the big things. And almost the way the space is designed and where we put everything, those are like the basic principles of it. Like, how can we make creativity as easy as possible? So part of making creativity as easy is making sure all the tools are easily accessible, that no one has to search for things for too long of a time. So whether that means labeling things, putting things in little boxes that are color coded, that kind of thing. And then collaboration is, like I mentioned earlier, these chairs with wheels on them. That makes it really easy to slide over and see what someone else is doing, or share a computer screen and then go back to your computer screen very quickly. We have a little couch in the music studio where people can sit and write songs together. Yeah, so all that stuff makes the environment more community oriented, which is a huge principle that we base it on. And then yeah, so creativity and collaboration. So when you think about just laying out the space, and this is going to come up when we move into the next space and we choose how we're going to put the furniture. It's how can we make sure youth are being creative as possible, as quickly as possible, and how can we make sure that collaboration is easy for all of our youth? And I think those are the founding principles. And then when you go to different clubhouses around the world, you'll find that they answer those questions differently, which is fine. Every community is going to be different. They're going to have different challenges, and youth are going to have different personalities. But those are the important considerations, I would say.
Yeah, thank you.
No problem.
Okay, I think we have already finished our time, but it's just the beginning. We are connecting. I want you to know that besides Susan, others tried to connect our session, but I don't know why the link was not working. Simon was trying to enter. Simon from Tanzania, I told you. And for sure, these people are going to see, and even others from Asia, Japan and Korea. It's too late for them. It's 1 o'clock in the morning, so they are sorry because the time shift was difficult for them. So certainly they're going to watch the video, and then they are going to talk and connect you to ask and to go on. This is just the beginning of a new connection. So wonderful. Thank you so much. It's very, very inspiring to see a young man like you doing so much for the community and going forward for brilliant. Thank you so much.
Thank
you. I hope you'll be available.
Yeah.
For keep on sharing with us.
Yeah, I would love to. I would love to visit you guys' maker spaces, and you know, when I'm in those different parts of the world, I would love to visit you all and see all the good work you guys are doing. So I'm excited about that.
Okay. Thank you very much. So anyone wants to final consideration? Veronica, I want you to.
Okay, Cass, it was really, really nice meeting you and in this session. And I want to tell you, we are in touch most of the time. You can share us, what are you doing, what are you creating, and we can share us our experience, because most of all, we have white hair, but I painted mine. But we have a lot of experience, you know. And this is the meaning when we are in touch, your age with our age, we can we can make this world better.
Yes, yes.
You are our new friend.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Eloisa, am I able to put links? Is it okay to put links on the Global Educators community page?
Sure, please do that. We have this chat that we put something here, and we are trying to organize on paper to have the reports and the documents of all these sessions. It's a lot of work. We're trying to organize this too, but we're still using Global Community Messenger to spread the ideas. But please do that. If you want to put here too, we're going to copy and paste in some documents, and there it's good because everybody can access these links as well.
Okay, great. Yeah, I'll put them on there. And then you can let me know if I should put it somewhere else, but I'll start by putting them on that Global Educators group page.
Yes, we're still organizing that.
Okay.
Sorry. And because this small group is different from that one.
I'm sorry. Yes, okay.
For sure you can put there. You can put there, but
put it in the Facebook.
What I mean, this small group of 30, 40 persons is a very special group that I play as a VIP group because I know everyone personally and work, and it's very, very, you can count with all of them. That's I can do because all of my friends. The others, it's an open group that was created for this last LCL, but then there are a lot of people that I don't know. Of course, you can share there, but there are a lot of people that I don't know. But you can publish, no problem at all. But in this small group, it's certain you have feedback and contacts, and it's much more active and interactive group,
Okay,
so
I should.
You can do both. You can do, yes.
Okay. So when you say the small group, you mean the Facebook Messenger one, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay,
I need some advisors to do that.
No. Okay. I understand.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna post them on both then.
Yes. Sure.
Okay.
Great. Okay. Thank you very much for your participation, and see you.
Bye, everyone.
Bye. Bye. Thank you very much.
Love and kisses.